I've always wondered what it would be like to be that girl. You know, the ones who seem to have it all figured out, that perfect life, an incredible career, partner, and everything in between. Well, so far, I've identified more as imperfectly perfect. But here's a crazy idea. You and I'm confident we can have it all too. A life we're in love with. Because, hear me out. The more I go through life, the more I realize that truly, actually no one knows what they're really doing. And let's be honest, we're all out here just trying to figure it all out. Life can be messy, busy, and lonely sometimes. But most of all, it's pretty epic, and that's the fun of it. Making mistakes and learning to love who you are. Because you can't hate the experiences that shaped you, right? Maybe it's about unbecoming everything that isn't really you, so you can become who you were meant to be in the first place. But one thing I know for sure is that if there's one thing I'm willing to bet on, it's myself, my true self, and so should you. Welcome to the She's Got It All Figured Out podcast. Well, almost. A personal development podcast helping you design a life you love within the 8 dimensions of wellness. Now, grab a warm cup of coffee, go on your hot girl walk, or put on your sweats and get comfy. But whatever you're doing, get ready for some epic girl talk. Hello and welcome to another episode of the She's Got It All Figured Out podcast. And today with us we have Tarsila, who's a filmmaker and content creator originally from Brazil and who moved to Canada. So hi Tarsila, welcome. Thank you for being here.
Hi, thank you so much for inviting me. It is truly pleasure to be here with you today.
Yeah, so I'm super excited to dive into your journey because you've accomplished a lot. You've been through a lot of different situations, so it's going to be really interesting for everyone listening. So I'm just going to dive first into where you're at in your current life, just for people who don't know you yet.
I think it's interesting to give a background because my phases have changed a lot. I actually majored in biology, but I never worked with it. I majored in biology in Brazil. And during that time when I was in college, I started discovering the online world and the content world. And that is something that really sparked into my eyes because my biggest goal, my biggest dream in life was to have geographical freedom. And that was the way that I saw that it could be possible. So I started creating content about exchange programs that I was doing in the United States at the time. When I was still in college, I would go to the United States during my vacation to do programs that would allow me to legally work there, like in ski resorts. It was really fun. And I started creating content about that for the Brazilian community. So my channel was in Portuguese. And it grew very well because it was very niche. There was a lot of people interested on that topic. And then that became my business. And I had to learn everything on my own, like content, marketing, online business tools and skills and all that. So after I graduated in biology, I was already working with this. So from college, after college, I just started traveling more, doing other programs and documenting that on my channel and educating people on how they could do the same. And then I became a digital nomad. So I traveled to very different parts of the US. I also lived in different parts of Brazil, going back and forth. I spent some time in Jamaica, in Ecuador, in Europe. And then after my time in Europe, I came to Montreal. And that's when I arrived here. Then I was still working on my channel, but I realized that I needed to shift my career. I listen to my intuition a lot and what my body tells me and what I feel that is aligned with the goals that I have in my future. So I felt that all that context that I was talking about I was outgrowing it in the way that I would have to keep talking about something that I wasn't doing before. And that was a little weird to me. So I decided to stay in Montreal for a few years because I was also a little bit tired of traveling, to be honest. I wanted to settle and rethink what I wanted to do for the next phase of my life. And then I stopped working with that Brazilian community. I stopped working with that social media. It was truly a school. I learned so many things about like soft skills that I developed for myself, but also things, hard skills like marketing, business, and all those things. I decided that was a good time for me to do a different type of step in my life than I haven't done before, which was actually work for a company. So I
It's a
started
weird
working.
transition when you've been like a
Yeah, I
solopreneur. Yeah.
of course. And then 2 weeks ago, I started working as a content creator. So I thought that was really interesting because I was hired to do something that I developed on my own that I never even did a degree on. It was totally a skill that I developed by doing it for myself. And now I have a full-time job as a content creator for a finance company in Canada.
Yeah. I
And it's a
feel
remote job. And that is my current phase.
I feel like what's interesting about your journey is what you've been able to do is really take your passions and follow through with that. Like in whatever your career was taking you, like even as a solopreneur or working like in a regular 9 to 5, like what would be your advice for someone who's kind of having trouble following through with their passion?
I don't think that necessarily we're gonna work with our passion all the time. For example, right now, my passion is cinematography. But if I wanted to pursue that right now, I feel like it would be stressful because it's a different type of field that you don't get a full-time job on. And if I was going to build my own business around that, which is something that I want to do, it would be very stressful to put that pressure on a new YouTube channel, on a new online business to perform very well quickly because I needed that to thrive for the money. So my strategy at this point was to get a job in something that I know what to do and I like doing, but it's not exactly my passion. Like what I do is videos for content creation for social media. Is a skill that I know what to do and I'm comfortable doing, but it's not my passion. But that is giving me other skills and allowing me to have time to work on my passion on my own time and the way that I really wanted. So I started a new YouTube channel to do my passion, which is cinematic videos. And I am doing it on my time. I'm organizing my routine to put that on my routine and not letting my job take everything out of me, all my time from me. So developing that discipline, if you are not working with your passion, developing that discipline to find space to put your passion in your routine is really important because that literally feeds my soul when I'm working on those cinematic videos, and that is really important to me. And with time, I'm confident that I will build something, a business around it, an audience around that new channel, but I don't have that much pressure to make that perform right away and do the things that work. I'm doing the things that I'm passionate about and not feeling so pressured because I have that job that is giving me the income that I need and giving me a break from having to create a business that works right away, you know?
Yeah.
So the discipline and balancing things out and seeing which phase in your life you are aligned to where you want to go, that is my biggest advice. I don't think I could do something that I don't see aligned with my future, that doesn't have a purpose in my future. So I kind of look at the future and then I take steps back and I think, okay, what can I do now that is going to help me get there? Because sometimes I think we choose things in life and we get on autopilot, and where those things takes us are not exactly where we want to go. So we have to have that vision of where we want to go and then try to make choices in the present that will help us get there with discipline and always learning. Be passionate about learning is something that I think it helps a lot.
Yeah, I like what you said. It's about having that grit and kind of like patience of still putting in the work every day and yeah, doing the right moves and then keeping that long-term vision. Because sometimes as human, we do want like the instant gratification, but it's not, super realistic. Great things take time. But yeah, I'd love to know as well, like what first got you into storytelling, because we both connected through the film industry in the first place. So yeah, I'd love to know like your journey with cinematography and why this field is important to you.
Um, it's funny because I first started doing videos that were storytelling based without knowing what storytelling was.
Oh, interesting.
So before Reels even existed, in I think it was like 2017 or 18, I would go places or even at home create short videos, short like they looked like Reels, but I posted on my stories. So a
Nice.
video of me making coffee in the morning, or a video of me going snowboarding one day at the ski resort, or a video of me going on a hike with my mom in Sao Paulo. I would just do it for fun and post it on my stories because I loved it. I never ever occurred to me that could become something that it was profitable, that could be my work. So that was only for fun. When I started then creating online content for a while, I never thought that that could be used. So I was doing more like SEO things, doing that thing that people say you have to do, you have to be doing content for what people are looking for. You have to give them what they want and not what you want to do. So I stopped doing those videos for a long time because I thought that they didn't have space
Oh.
in that environment, in that business that I was trying to build. So I stopped doing them for a long time. I was only doing like educational, informational, SEO, long carousels, things like that, but I wasn't
Okay.
doing that much storytelling, to be fair. I was doing vlogs, but in a very like vloggy way, not cinematic, like holding my phone and talk to the camera and walking and like showing things and pointing. It was more that I don't know what is the name for that, but it was not like cinematic, which is what
Yeah.
I like to do now, you know. And then l- last year, when I started to think about that, I didn't want to work with that anymore, with that Brazilian audience, with that business anymore, it wasn't aligned to where I wanted to go. At some point, I don't know where to point out, that passion just came back to me, and I
I feel when
realized
it's rooted in you, it's gonna come back at
yeah,
some
it's
point.
gonna come back and it's gonna kick you in the butt if you don't listen to it. It came back to me and I started watching videos. Oh yeah, I remember YouTube just gave me a video of someone, a content creator, that she was doing cinematic videos of her life. And I was like, this is possible?
That's so
There's
cool.
people that want to watch this and I can do this? Oh my God, this is what I want to do, you know?
Nice.
And I real that when I opened the door to remember that that's what I love, I started to looking for jobs around video. I started to looking for started studying cinematography. That's when I also volunteered for Montreal International Film Festival because I wanted to be closer to that community, to the film community, connect with people in that area. And then I know that a good story is not only about the visuals, is not only about the cinematic part of it, the shots that you make. A beautiful a beautiful visually story, if it doesn't have a good narrative, no one is gonna care. No one is gonna watch. No one is gonna remember. Not even me. It's not gonna touch us. You know,
Yeah.
'cause the stories are the thing. The stories are the thing that we remember over time in our life since the beginning of humanity. To be fair,
Yeah,
and
that's true.
then I needed to combine those two. So I started learning not only more cinematography, but also how to tell a good story. That is really important to combine those two and to create a good narrative, a good cinematic film or vlog or something. Yeah.
Yeah, and you do have that special touch to like bring people in with your videos. Like anyone listening, I recommend like going to like watch your videos because you just want to like learn more and like see more about like your experiences in your life because you're such a great storyteller. So yeah, I think that's a great accomplishment and like leaning into that. What's one of your like looking back one moment that you feel was like a success story or a success moment for you?
There was one recently that, so in June, I went to Gaspésie with my husband. So one, which is a beautiful place here in Quebec to travel to. And a little before that, actually, it's important to mention, since the end of the last year, I started realizing that our memories are not as good enough as when we watch a video about our life. I started watching like old vlogs that I did on those exchange programs, and I was like, absolutely astonished by the amount of details that those videos will bring back to my memory and
That's
sensation.
so true. I actually did the same thing, like I think 2 weeks ago, and I had the same realization. That's so weird.
And it's funny because like when I did those videos, honestly, there was a part of me that was like, oh my God, this is terrible, you know? But then now
Yeah, I mean,
looking,
there's always like the cringe
yeah.
moment, but yeah.
But then when I look back to them, I was like, this is so sweet. I have this moment of my life documented for me to look back forever. What I was
Yeah.
feeling, what I was seeing, the details of my routine that don't stay in our memories because we have to keep, we're living and we're acquiring more memories. So
Yeah.
we're not going to retain everything. So I started realizing how important it was to me to document my life. Not for people, but for myself. Moments that I wanted to look back in the future. Because that also is something that helps me enjoy the processes of life. Because if it's really important to me that I'm not only looking at my ultimate goals, but I am enjoying the process to them.
Yeah.
Because we live much more in the process than in the result. The result that actually, when we achieve something that lasts a second, a minute, a day, but then that is every day that we worked on something, documenting that and creating a video narrative about that helped me enjoy my processes more. So I started documenting my life with this cinematography
Yeah.
passion that
'Cause
I have. And I did a video, I documented my whole trip at Gaspésie with my husband. And when I came back, I took a part of that video that I did of an idea that I had during the trip, and I created a video for my mom and her birthday. It was totally a passion project. It was not
Oh,
even going to my YouTube because it was a birthday video to her. Like I was talking to her on the
yeah.
video. And I have to show you this one. I didn't show you. It's called Postcard. It's really beautiful.
Oh, that's cute.
And then I posted it on my Instagram for her. But the response that I got for the people that followed me, because that was totally different than everything I did before, they were like, oh my God, we need to see more content like this. Like
Nice.
there are true passion stories that look like art, not only like fast food content.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And then that was like, it's not only me. That made me realize that it was not only me that was missing this stories that they have breathing time, that people are not talking so fast with animated captions to keep your attention. There are
Yeah.
people out there that still want to watch a story that is slow and is captivated and is not so fast, you know? So that was a big moment that happened to me after that. Yeah.
Looking back, what are some like challenges you're proud that you overcame so far?
Being a digital nomad on my own and having to make that business provide for myself was a really big challenge, to be fair. I look at things and I was like, you were a little crazy, right? You were like,
You had the guts to do it.
uh-huh. You had the guts to do it, but I'm proud of it because it was like during my 20s. I'm 30 now, and I do feel like at the time I just wanted to create this solid business, blah blah blah, and now I just put that away and I started something completely new, and that doesn't hurt me because all of those were experiments that was making me learn about myself, that was making me learn about the world. And all that we take from life is experiences. So being a little crazy and putting myself out there, having the courage to try, not being afraid of failing, of trying again, and not being afraid of learning new things and the challenges and being out there in the world on my own, doing this thing on my own was a big challenge that I don't think I realized at that moment.
Yeah, it is challenging. A lot of people want to be digital nomads and kind of follow their passions like this, and it's not an easy thing to do that transition. Especially you did it so young too, and like leaving your home country and traveling so much. Just that is an accomplishment in itself. So yeah, I think that's incredible that you did that.
Thank you.
Yeah, and then for like anyone listening who's on that self-discovery journey, what would be your advice to them? Like, what should they be doing? Should they put themselves more out there? Like, what would be your advice on that?
I feel like people are too afraid of feeling fear. And people avoid doing things that are unknown to them because they are afraid of not being able to succeed, to solve it. And one thing that I learned in this journey when so many things went wrong, basically the whole time it was just problem solving, is that it is
Like that.
those challenges that is gonna make you stronger. So you're not gonna be able to get stronger to do something that you are unfamiliar with unless you do it. That's how you're gonna get stronger. You have to face that fear and even embrace that fear in a way that, okay, what does this mean? This means that this is unknown to me. And the only way that I'm gonna get more comfortable with this is if I learn more about it, is if I solve this, is if I go through this. So avoiding unfamiliar, uncomfortable situations is not gonna make you stronger. And is not gonna expand your knowledge of yourself. It's not gonna expand your self-courage. I was so insecure. I was such an insecure person before, and I had a really hard time like sleeping away from my mom when I was a kid. And it was putting myself out there, getting out of my comfort zone and solving things on my own that I realized that I had that strength. And then I started not being afraid of challenges anymore because one after the other, you're gonna find a way to solve it because we always do. We always do. The only thing that we can't solve is the day that we're gonna pass away, you know? Everything else, we will find a solution. And that is having that mindset to go, okay, this happened. Shit, how do I solve it now? How do I solve it now? And that is something that I think people would benefit more, and it would increase people's self-security. No,
Like awareness or
yeah, self-awareness, but also self-confidence. Self-confidence so much more. And definitely, I am a big believer on traveling, and not as a tourist, but on trying to experience a new place and a new culture. And those new experiences that are so out of your comfort zone, they increase the speed of you learning about you so much faster and in such a beautiful way when you open yourself to that.
yeah, it's interesting for me to learn that you like it wasn't always easy for you to put yourself out there because from since like I've known you, I've always seen that about you, like that you've had like that facility of like putting yourself out there and trying new challenges. So yeah, I think it's encouraging for anyone listening that you can have that transition and kind of like be able to put yourself out there. So yeah, I think that's impressive.
Thanks. I mean, it totally is. Courage is something that you built. That strength is something that you built. So I wasn't like this always. And I didn't know nothing that I know now. I learned that on the way, on the journey, listening to myself, trying to find what was resonating to me, and knowing that things change as well. Like that, I thought I was going to work with that forever, and look at me now. I'm doing totally something different. And I think that's beautiful, to allow ourselves to change to time and not being stuck on something just because we started. Like, how many versions of us can we be, And that's really
wow, I
fun.
love that. Yeah, that's true. You can always like reinvent yourself, basically. Oh, that's so cool. And looking ahead, what are your upcoming goals for your future?
Right now, I really want to thrive at this job. It's challenging me, and I feel like there is a lot of room of growth for me, and also for me to create results for the company. So I'm really focused on that. But every day, almost every day, at least for a half an hour, I am working on my videos. And I do want that to become something for me. I am working for a company right now, but I have that entrepreneurial spirit. I can't deny
Yeah.
it.
It's always
I
been there.
It's always been there and it's always gonna be there, you know? So I want to have something on my own again, and I would like to be that related to cinematography, which is something that I'm passionate about, clearly. And so I am building that slowly, and I'm gonna let that drive me as well. I feel like I'm gonna have more clarity as I walk through that path. And so I want to dedicate myself to that job, but at the same time, build that thing for myself that is going to become something else in the future. I don't know exactly, and I have no I don't know like how long I'm going to be in this job that I am right now. I'm planning to be there for a while, but I am planting the seeds for something
Yeah.
else to be possible to happen in the future. I would like one day in the future to make documentaries.
Yeah.
I
You'd be
love about
amazing at
that.
that.
Oh,
Yeah.
thanks. And even if I never get hired from anyone, but maybe
You can
doing
create your
something
own.
for
Yeah.
myself. Yeah,
Yeah.
doing something for myself with something that the internet allows us today. That is something that I would love to achieve. Maybe work as a director of photography in something. For myself, I feel like I'm already doing that. I
Yeah.
like to say that I'm the director of photography of my life. But that
Yeah.
is nice. I don't feel bad. I like to enjoy the process, as I said. And the only way that we get better at something is practicing. But
Yeah.
that is not easy. I'm aware. Like sometimes I have blockages on working on projects because I have such a high expectation for it, what is on my mind and what my skills are able to achieve.
Yeah.
But I have to be the adult to myself and say, this is how you're gonna get better. So you have to do this because otherwise you're never gonna achieve this vision. And the process is beautiful. Enjoy
Yeah.
it, you know?
And do you have a life quote or motto you live by?
Enjoy the process is a big one for me because if we think about it, life is a big process.
Yeah.
So that means literally enjoying our lives more. The everyday, another good thing that I love about documenting my routine is finding the beauty in the everyday details, not
Yeah.
only on the beautiful Gaspésie trip. That will be beautiful too, but I want to find a way to, and I am enjoying it, making my daily life being as such as valuable to me as these special days, you know?
Yeah.
And then the other quote that I think about a lot is memento mori, which means remember that you are mortal.
Oh,
I think
okay.
about that a lot. And I lost my dad when I was really young. I was 16.
Yeah.
And having that close contact to death definitely changed me. I know people are scared of it. People don't want to talk about it. People don't want to think about it. But that is the only thing that we know absolutely for certain. And meditating on that for me, knowing that my time here is limit. There's a limit to it. It makes me pay more attention to the decisions I make. It
That's
makes
true.
me be more mindful about the choices that I'm making in the present and what do I want to be in the future and how do I want to live my life instead of being an autopilot and then waking up when I'm 50 and going, what the fuck did I do? You know?
Yeah, that would be a sad regret looking back.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then yeah, it's about making these mistakes, and then maybe we always look back and like find things that could have been differently. But then like if you live in the moment, like you said, in these yeah, just these little everyday things, like you don't find that much regret. I feel like in the end, like if you try to be as present as possible in each moment,
Yeah.
because
Being in
even
present. Hmm.
yeah, because then even if you made these mistakes, that was the decision in the moment. So
Yeah. Being as present as we can in our lives is tremendously important.
yeah, are there little things you do like in your daily life to try to remember that? Or like, is it like journaling or like you said, maybe
I journal every day.
meditations? Yeah.
I journal every day. That is absolutely amazing to me. Like when sometimes I take some time to look back at the things that I wrote, and it seems like I am reading someone else. At the moment that I was writing, that was so
Yeah.
present. But then now when I read something from a year ago, I go like, look where she was, with the things that she was thinking, and she had no idea, or maybe had some idea of where she was gonna be, but like looking at things that I was afraid of or worried about, how they ended up, things that I desired, that if I achieved them or if they changed. And it helps me go through my emotions, process things that I'm going through. It's not therapy, but it's therapeutical.
Yeah.
And I also take a lot of ideas for my videos there. I put a lot of the things that I read, the things that I go through, the moments that I am going through, the things that I was writing when I was going through the thing that I was living. For example, on the Gaspésie trip, the things that I wrote when I was there, and then I use quotes and insights I had
That's
from the
amazing.
journal in my videos.
That's so cool. I love that. It's like literally you're writing your own script.
Oh my, yeah, but you know what? I was telling my mom about that because she was curious about my journal. And I said, I don't think about that when I'm writing, because if I write my journal, think that that is going to become a script, it filters, I get
Yeah.
judgmental about what I'm writing. So I just write, like, filter off. And then feel like weeks after, if I read it, I can see what was the biggest insight of that moment. Because if I only write the things that I think that you'd be useful for a script, then I am not doing my purpose of journaling, which is not that.
Yeah, that's true. You don't want to impact the other. You can. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
That's cool. I feel like a few content creators listening might take like that idea. Super cool. I have like one extra question for you, but I'm curious also to know in terms of like your own like personal growth, like personal discovery journey. What are you hoping to learn like in the future, maybe?
I am hoping to learn how can I balance two big sides that I have on me. I have a very strong part of me that wants to explore the world a lot. See, not because I want to count countries to put on my bio, but because not to like shame everyone on it, but because I feel like going to a totally different culture with a non-judgmental eye and see how that impacts you and the things that you learn, and you see other ways of living, to me that is when I feel alive, when I live an experience like that. It doesn't
Yeah.
have to be that far. I was camping recently. I love camping with my husband on Saguenay, and I just remember feeling so alive. So those
Yeah.
moments, they bring like new experiences that make me feel alive, because I'm learning about me
Yeah.
as I'm learning about some other part of the world or some other experience. And I need to balance this person with the part of me that wants to have an off-grid house in the mountains and have a garden and grow
Yeah.
her own food. I want to grow my
Living
own
two
food.
different
Yeah.
lives.
So I have plans for that.
Yeah.
I think I might be like a seasonal type of nomad with a home
Yeah,
base
that could
to
be a
go back
thing.
to. There are no rules for this. The only rule I want to follow is what makes sense to me. So
Yeah.
you don't have to be full-time nomad. You don't have to be full-time homestead. I
Yeah.
so I will want to balance those things in my life. Because something that I felt when I was just nomad is that I didn't have time to process the previous experience that I was living. I had to
Okay.
process why I was living something else, and that was like.
Yeah.
So I feel that I want to be intermittent in those
Yeah.
in those parts of me, and yeah,
Yeah, and it could
that's
give like a sense of home when you're traveling abroad too, all over. Yeah. Yeah, and then for anyone who wants to like follow your journey and check out your videos, where can they follow you?
I am taking my time, so I'm not posting super like frequently, okay? But I promise there are things that are gonna come out, and they're gonna be, and when they come out, they're gonna be very special. So it's gonna, hopefully will be worth the wait. They
Yeah.
can follow me on my Instagram and my YouTube. My YouTube is my favorite. Um,
Yeah.
so my you can follow me. It's Tarsila Schott, Schott, just
Yeah.
like it's written here. Yeah, both
Perfect.
Instagram and YouTube. I don't have many followers, and I don't have that much content there yet, but I have the vision.
Yeah, you do. That's true. Cool. Well, thank you so much for joining Tarsila. It's been such an interesting episode. Yeah, I'm excited for people to get to know you and to follow your journey also, and to like see like your next videos and everything else you'll be putting out. So
Thank you so much for giving me the space to allow my journey, to talk about my journey, because it was listening to someone else talking about the journey that made me realize there were things that were possible for me that I never thought they were possible before until I saw someone talking about it. So,
yeah, and that's what I find super interesting with the podcast too. Like even like for myself, like I keep learning from every single guest, like from you today. So yeah, it's really inspiring to listen to other stories.
thank you so much for inviting me. It was great.
Thank you so much.